But moving along, we got to talk about something else, man. Al-Shaair, he had got a 3-game suspension against versus the Jaguars last Sunday with a illegal hit. You know, QB sliding and then still hit him in his helmet. Trevor Lawrence down on the ground for a while. We got the video for y'all right here so y'all can see it as I just talk about it. So he's serving a 3-game suspension.
This one was a little weird for me to talk about because Azeez Al-Shaair was one of the players I wanted us to keep. I feel like this was a guy who was a huge depth piece for the 49ers, but I like the fact that he went over there to go with that head coach, you know, who used to be here as our defensive coordinator. He you know, that's the system that he knows. And he's over there with some other players like Jimmy Ward, who was also in the system, so it made a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. But I wanna say this to the Houston Texans and their fans. I understand you defending your player, and that's what you should do. You should always defend your player at all times. But if there's some history of it, then you got to understand the suspension part. He was already fined $48,000 for some late hits, and I think it was a couple other penalties that he had to deal with in that time, with some like I said, with some fines. So the thing is,
real quick, yeah. I'm gonna just read out the okay. I got the list right here. So this is since September 2023. Mm-hmm. So this is like last 2 seasons basically. He had a late hit versus Tennessee, got fined 11.2K. Mm-hmm. He was fighting versus the Bears in September this year. This is all this year, 11.8K. Face mask versus Tampa Bay in November last year, 10.9K. And last year, roughing the passer against New Orleans, 13.9K. And then this hit.
So that's right there. That is 4 instances before Sunday of him kind of sort of having some dirty plays. Now, you might not want to call him a dirty player, but those are dirty plays. Let's just call it what it is. And like I said, I love Azeez Al-Shaair. I think he's a phenomenal player. He's physical. He's the guy you can depend on to show up in every single game. But if you see that, then you can understand why the NFL is suspending him. He already has a track record of him being fined for some things that happened. Now, the suspension may be a little lengthy to some. They may try to push it to just 1 game because this is the first suspension he's had. He hasn't been suspended before, so I can kind of understand it. But he deserves to be suspended. I'm sorry, but he deserves to be suspended. That's just what happens. Now, when you look at the slide, you can see that Trevor Lawrence kind of sort of slid later than normal, but I think there was still enough time for him to be able to stop it, just allow him to slide. I think when you see him sliding, he wasn't necessarily right there by him. He saw him slide down and he dove at his head. So that's illegal. He hit him in his head, and then you saw he looked like, I hate to bring this up, but he looked like how Tua did when Tua got hit in the head. It's that stance where you know that someone looks really bad. Yes, I'm sorry. He deserves to be suspended. Maybe not 3 games, but he deserves some kind of suspension. Even if it's a 1 game, then it's 1 game, but times already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with the suspension because of the history of the player that did it. You know what I mean? Like you said, like this is not based off this particular play. This is based off, like you said, the history he had. And but you know, I do want to say this because you know, QBs no. Obviously, this is not the case. I don't think Trevor Lawrence manipulated his QB powers, right? But QBs do that. Mahomes, he does it a lot. I will never forget the Tennessee Titans
all the time.
In the Tennessee Titans game in the playoffs when he ran for that long touchdowns. He was supposed to go out of bounds, and then he manipulated it. I'm sorry, like he actually gonna go out of bounds. Just the other day, I think this last game, he kind of did a fake slide, and he ended up getting tackled. But you watching some more shit that put that clip up. He looked like he was about to slide. He did stuttered, and then he kept running. I'm like, you can't, like, dog. You know, shout out to Kenny Pickett because he did it in college.
Remember in college they banned it after he did that. They said no, that's not happening again because I think he scored on that play.
He scored as well. He actually let it go. He said, nope.
They was like, nah, that ain't happening again. Because if someone else tries it and they mess this up, then they get hurt. Then they're gonna blame it on the defensive player when it's the offensive player's fault.
I do want to give Azeez some love because he did go on Twitter and he apologized to Trevor. You know, he wrote an apology for Trevor Lawrence. Now, Dave, this is not to him, but this is everybody. Period. When people put out statements, why can they make a video and do it? It's more sincere that way. I feel like when you text it and write it, it is not. You know what I mean? Like when you like, I know me personally, I would put out like when JJ Redick retired, he made a video. He made a video of him and gave a speech and put it on Twitter versus typing it out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like people should make more videos when they doing these apologies. But he did apologize. He did like a 2-page on his notes, all that stuff. So I'm gonna give a pause for that. But I agree 1000% with the hit. And he's a very important player for them. He's a very physical player. I mean, obviously, as you can tell. And even D'Amico Ryan, I like what he said too. He said it's not what we represent. You know, he has to be better. But that's not who he is. You know what I mean? Like he covered his guy, but also saying his guy was wrong.
Yeah, that's how you hold your player accountable, and also how you defend your player. You do it in both sentences. In both stances. You like, hey, look, this is not what we like, but this is not who he is. I know he's better than that. I've coached him before, so I know exactly who this guy is. He knows him personally. He knows him as a player, so he knows how he is. He like, look, this is not who he is, but that was a bad play for sure.
And but he's gonna be missed down the stretch. Because
he is a very important piece on that defense. They got Jason Petard, the two rookie cornerbacks, the 2 rookie DBs they have, who's having phenomenal years right now. I think one leads the league in rookies and interceptions, the other one is right behind them. So they're the 1 and 2 in interceptions this year as far as rookies. And then you got Derek Stingley Jr. You got him on that defense as well. They have some really good pieces. Danielle Hunter, they signed him in the offseason. He is very important. Exactly. He is very important to his defense. So that's definitely Jalen Petrie. Okay, sorry. I think I was saying it wrong for like the last couple of weeks, but yeah.
No, I think you said it right last week. Oh no, you did. You said probably.
I said Petrie. I definitely did, but Petrie.
But look who they played, Dave. The Dolphins, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Titans, who just beat them.
And the Dolphins are getting hot. I understand that they lost that game on Thanksgiving, but they are getting hot.
The weather's gonna be nice.
That's exactly is, and that fits for Tua. Tua has thrown for 13 touchdowns and 1 interception since he got back from injury. That's MVP like numbers. If you look at
it better too, by the way.
Exactly. So the Dolphins are dangerous, and you're gonna need that. You're gonna need him. So everyone else, somebody's gonna have to step up in his place. It's
gonna be tough, man. The Texans, man, they almost lost yesterday. Like Joe Mixon had to get a game-sealing 3rd-down conversion.
Man, I'm telling you that's why I didn't trust them. But
that was your upset alert.
It was. It's just that they got lucky. Trevor Lawrence got hurt.
All right, on to some better news. You know what I mean? As you can tell, I'm wearing this jersey. The Commanders back on Victory Monday. Well, now we on Tuesday, but
let me